On August 25, 2025, former President Donald Trump signed a controversial executive order specifically targeting acts of flag desecration across the United States. This move reignited a long-standing national debate about the balance between patriotism and free speech. The order directs Attorney General Pam Bondi to aggressively prosecute anyone who burns or defiles the American flag, marking a sharp and unprecedented shift in federal policy. It calls for federal resources to be dedicated to these cases, signaling a new era of enforcement. Supporters argue the order is about restoring respect for a symbol of national sacrifice and unity, believing it will help heal divisions. Critics, however, see it as a direct attack on free expression and a dangerous precedent for government overreach. Trump's move follows earlier actions, such as banning non-U.S. flags at embassies, which was intended to reinforce the prominence of the American flag in official settings. He also ordered the installation of massive American flags at the White House, making the flag a central symbol of his administration's message. The timing of the executive order is seen as a direct response to recent protests, where flag burning and defacement have become more visible, fueling concerns about a perceived decline in respect for national symbols. The administration frames this as a necessary pushback against what it calls rising anti-American sentiment, aiming to rally citizens around shared values and national pride. Ultimately, the executive order is positioned as a tool to defend unity and patriotism in a divided era, sparking passionate debate about the meaning of the flag and the freedoms it represents. The executive order directly challenges the Supreme Court's 1989 Texas v. Johnson decision, which protected flag burning as free speech. Trump's directive urges the Attorney General to seek a legal review, hoping the current court might overturn the precedent. Supporters argue the flag is a unique national emblem deserving special protection, not just another object of protest. Critics warn this is a dangerous overreach, threatening the First Amendment and setting a precedent for government censorship. They insist that protecting unpopular speech is essential to a free society. The administration's strategy is to force a new legal battle over the limits of expression. The outcome could redefine the balance between patriotism and free speech. The stakes for American civil liberties are high. The order draws a sharp line between citizens and non-citizens. For Americans, it threatens federal prosecution for flag desecration, testing the boundaries of Supreme Court protections. For non-citizens, the consequences are harsher immediate loss of visas, green cards, or even deportation. Supporters say non-citizens should respect national symbols as a condition of their stay. Critics argue this creates a two-tiered system, chilling free expression in immigrant communities and raising serious questions about equal protection. Legal challenges are expected, focusing on whether immigration status can be revoked for acts protected as free speech for citizens. The debate highlights the tension between national identity and constitutional rights. The executive order was fueled by a wave of high-profile flag burnings at protests, which have become a symbol of the current political climate. From anti-ICE rallies in Los Angeles, where protesters have been vocal about immigration policies, to demonstrations at the Democratic National Convention and beyond, these acts have sparked intense debate. Supporters see these acts as evidence of growing disrespect for national symbols and use them to justify a crackdown. The administration's broader campaign includes massive flag displays at public events and strict rules for embassies, ensuring that the American flag is prominently displayed, aiming to elevate national symbols and instill a sense of pride and unity among citizens. Critics, however, argue that these measures are more about controlling dissent than fostering genuine unity. The order is seen as the enforcement arm of a broader cultural project to define what it means to be American. The debate over these protests is about more than just the flag itself, it's about the nation's identity and values. The government's response seeks to draw a clear line on what is considered acceptable forms of protest, aiming to shape the narrative around patriotism and national pride. Trump's executive order reignites a core American conflict, one that has simmered for decades, touching the heart of national identity and the values Americans hold most dear. Is the flag a sacred symbol demanding legal protection, a banner that must be shielded from acts seen as disrespectful, or is it a living emblem of free expression, even dissent, reflecting the nation's ongoing struggle to balance unity and liberty? Supporters see the order as a moral imperative, a necessary stand to preserve the dignity of the nation's most recognizable icon, and a defense against what they perceive as national decline and the erosion of shared values. Opponents warn it's a step toward authoritarianism, a move that could silence voices of protest and dissent, threatening the right to protest and challenging the very freedoms the flag is meant to represent. The legal battle will likely reach the Supreme Court, where justices will weigh the Constitution's promise of liberty against calls for patriotic protection. The outcome could reshape the boundaries of political speech for generations, influencing how Americans express their beliefs in public life. At stake is not just the fate of a symbol but the very definition of patriotism and dissent in a changing society. The character of the American experiment itself hangs in the balance, as citizens of all backgrounds grapple with what the flag truly means. The flag's meaning, unity or liberty, order or freedom, remains fiercely contested, echoing through generations. The executive order has drawn a line in the sand, forcing Americans to confront their deepest convictions about nationhood and rights. But the nation's debate is far from over. The conversation continues in streets, courts, and homes across the country. The outcome will define what it means to be American in the 21st century, shaping the legacy of the Stars and Stripes for generations to come.